causes deep sadness, a failure to connect, a loss of intimacy. And one of the ways in which theatre responds to that is through the new, or relatively new, phenomenon of one-on-one theatre, where people go into a theatrical situation, or some kind of theatrical situation, but find themselves not as part of a collective audience, but having a one-on-one interaction with a performer. It's obviously a kind of theatre that places a huge responsibility on the performers. They're entering into a much more direct and personal relationship with audience members who may themselves, for various reasons, be very, very vulnerable. But over the past few years, it's developed into a really interesting and creative area of theatre in which people can really explore some of the deepest kind of lacks and flaws, really, in the society that we live in. And now we're about to offer a Fringe First Award to one of the finest shows in this genre that I think any of us who are on the Fringe First judging panel have ever seen. It's a show by Look Left, Look Right of London, and it's called, and it's a wonderful title, You Once Said Yes. And it's a show about what happens if you say yes on your way around the city to the kind of encounters that in everyday life we would all be well trained to say no to. That is, if you get into a car with a man you don't know, if you talk to a down and out who comes up to you in the street, if you allow yourself to get buttonholed by an unhappy looking stranger while you're trying to do a tourist walk around St Giles Cathedral, what happens to you if you end up talking to all those people that you normally just would make a point of not talking to because you're too busy, or because you just don't want to, or because someone's told you that you shouldn't? And it's one of the richest hours and a half of experience you could imagine on this Fringe. You wander the beautiful geography of Edinburgh, which always lends itself brilliantly to this kind of thing. You're in the cathedral, you're in the beautiful churchyard of Greyfriars, you're thinking all the time about our society and the things it gives to people and the things that it takes away. And at the end of it, of course, you find that a lot of what you personally have said to these people, you've been counselling them, you know, in their characters, they're all in character, telling you their problems and all the rest of it, and you've been counselling away like an old granny saying, well, you should do this, you should do that, you should do the next thing. And then when you arrive at the end of this show, all of this is memorialised in a song which is sung specially for you in a pub full of people who have themselves just undergone this wonderful experience and have hung around to have a drink. It is the most amazingly affirming and thought-provoking experience. So I'd like the whole team from You Once Said Yes to come up now and accept their Fringe First.